Griff Hamlin here. Welcome and thanks for joining me today. In today's video, as you might have guessed, we're kind of going to talk about Red House. And I say kinda because I'm not going to show you how to play the intro to Red House exactly. I'm actually kind of simplifying it because I really want to somehow get across to you that the intro to Red House, while it seems like it must be something fancy and something otherworldly, it's not. It's just the first 4 bars of a blues. And the only thing that makes it unusual or different is the fact that there's no guitar. So I just played a simple intro riff and I just turned my looper on so that you'd hear the chords going on in the background. It's a blues in B flat, right? So all we have is B flat, E flat, that's the quick change, back to B flat. Okay, so that's the first 4 bars of a blues in B flat. The only difference is they're going 1, 2, 3, 4. The next part is called the E flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That doesn't mean that it's somehow different. It doesn't mean that the chords are somehow changed. There's just nobody playing them. Okay? So this trips up a lot of people and it makes that intro really, really hard for most people to grasp. The other thing that makes it really hard is that Hendrix, much like Johnny Winter, for example, is another good example of somebody who plays really slippery with the time, for lack of a better word. It's almost impossible to, the first part, and then it's kind of this random conglomeration of notes. It's kind of slip sliding around the time, and he sort of ends on that. There's an E flat chord right there, so he lands on the minor third of box 1. But there's just nothing that you can count. It's really hard to hum that, and as I always say, if you can't hum it, you can't play it. So what I did is I put together something that was very simple. Let's say that you're going to play Red House this week. Okay, you're going to sit with a band this weekend and you have to play it. What do you do? Okay, very common challenge. It's really, like I said, it's really hard to learn the exact thing. So let's look at what we might do. First of all, I play, what are these 3 notes here? Okay, these 3 notes are the B flat 7 chord. Okay, if you think of a D7 chord, open D7, right? The open string is a D. If I bring it up a fret, it's an E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat. Okay, so I'm going to lose the first finger, and I'm just going to play the notes down. 1, 2, 3. First string, second string, third string. Okay, so my pinky's right now at the 10th fret, if that's not obvious. Okay, now some people go back and forth between the first and the third strings, like 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Maybe get a little sugar if you want. Honestly, whatever pattern you choose, and if you listen to 10 different Hendrix recordings, you'll hear 10 different patterns. It's not like he played it the same way every time anyway. So what we're going to do, the way I wrote it is just very simple. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Okay, now the next move, I'm going to go down a half step. Why? Over an E flat 7. This doesn't really make any sense at all. It sort of creates a B flat diminished chord. Okay, the only thing that I can tell you is that this works. Okay, you can play B flat diminished 7th over E flat 7 and it sounds okay. Why? Because lots of people have done it throughout history and you're okay with it. That's really the reason. I could go into the whole spiel about how a dominant seventh chord is a replacement for any kind of minor chord, and you can replace an E flat 7 with an E flat 7 with a flat 9. And because of the flat 9, you can use any diminished seventh chord off of any note except the root, and it'll sound okay. That's the whole explanation. It's just easier to go, oh, that's a little half step down. That's a common 1 to 4 kind of move. We do it finger style, we do. And we never question it, okay? It's the same thing. We're just doing it in B flat. If I could reach that far, I would. Maybe I can. Yeah, almost. Okay, but that's ugly, and we don't want to do that. Okay, so for the 4 chord, we go down a half step. Just do that. Just do that thing. It's a great move. Remember it, learn it, use it often. It sounds cool. Use it every once in a while, and it's just going to sound cool every time. When we go from the 1 chord to the 4 chord. Okay, so just use it. B flat 7, E flat 7. Then I strike the chord on the first part of the 3rd bar. That's 1 and 2. Okay, where am I getting this note? I'm in B flat. Here's box 1 in B flat. So I'm going to, on the quarter notes, beat 2, 3, and 4. I'm bending that 9th fret up. So far, I'm pretty close to the Hendrix version, right? Okay, now, where things start to fall apart, depending on which Hendrix recording you're listening to, is the next bar, which is, I'll say, the 4th bar moving into the 4 chord. It's the 4th bar of the 12-bar blues form. The original, again, we have something like... It's just kind of, like I say, it's really slip sliding. I don't know exactly what the notes are. But if we make it something in time... Okay, now we can count it out. So again, I'm going to start good old box 1. By the way, I'm playing in B flat. Hendrix played in B. He tuned down a half step. It sounds about the same. But if I was in C, it's still box 1. So nothing would change. So coming down, I'm just going to come down box 1. 6th fret, 9, 6. Bend the 8th fret on the 3rd string. 6, 6 on the top 2 strings. 9, 6, bend my 8th fret up, return it, 8, 6, 8, down at the 4th string, land on that 6th fret, because that's the E flat chord. And from here, it's whatever you want to do. If you want to kind of tear it up, or... You can keep it kind of mellow. You have your options there. Do what fits in your wheelhouse. Hardly anybody actually, it's a guitar solo. So yeah, it's cool to kind of try and learn some licks, but learning Hendrix note for note is really, really, really hard, because it's like I say, he's very slip-slidey with the time. It's almost impossible to count. So it's one of those things where you have to listen. Your ear is the only thing that can guide you. And you just have to play those notes over and over and over and over and over again until you kind of lock them in. And it can take, hundreds of times, right? So if you're going to have to play this weekend or next weekend, you don't have time for that. So start with something that's doable, something that fits within your abilities. Nobody in the audience will really know the difference, right? I don't even know what Hendrix actually played. I don't think I've ever played this song the way Hendrix actually played it. And aside from that, there's probably 20 recordings on YouTube, and no 2 of them are alike. So which one's the right one? Nobody knows, right? So don't feel like you have to learn Hendrix's version of this tune note for note. All you have to do is take something that's doable for you. This is a nice, simple lick you can learn, and you can throw it down anytime you want to play Red House. Now, by the way, if the band chooses, right, you could use this also just as a regular old lick, like I did coming in. I just turned on my looper and it played the B flat chord, and I just played the lick. I played the exact same thing. You could play that chord. Right, that's another option. Like you could do it while the looper goes. Or tremolo picket. Okay, and I can get, you know, I can get as fancy as I want to. I can use that same lick in the solo. It works great. You know, maybe I change it up. I do it with, you know, this kind of thing coming in, and then later on. In fact, some of the Hendrix recordings, I've heard him do that too. So this idea can have more than one use, even in the same tune, you know, even in the same instance of the tune. All right, so I hope that kind of makes some sense, and I hope that it sort of clarifies a little bit what's going on here. It's really just the first 4 bars of a blues, and all you're doing is playing something that goes well with those first 4 chords for a blues in B flat. And again, if you move it up to B, just move it up a fret. If you need it in A, move it down a fret. No big deal one way or the other, all right? So hope you dig that. Hope you have some fun with it. Learn it, play it, enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.